Today marks 1728 day of daily lessons and daily reflections. And today we speak about a very interesting topic, and that is that when you start moving to the right direction, it you will feel most likely worse than before. Maybe not right away, because when you make decision to really move in the right direction, for first week might be that you feel very extremely motivated. But after that motivation weans off, there's a high chance that you will feel worse than you just before started. And as of course I said it, I want to go back where I started because at least I felt normal. Now I feel worse. And I think that this is a very unique place to be in. When you really start moving to the right direction, you will feel worse than before. Today we'll share 7 reasons, 7 truths. Why is that? Why is that when you start moving to the right direction, at the beginning of your journey, you will feel worse, and that's what you need to expect, because it's such a beautiful thing when you know exactly that's most likely that's exactly what you will feel. You are ready for it. You open hands, receive it, and go through it much faster than denying and not expecting, and you're hoping that every single day of your journey will feel fabulous. So number one, you are losing the comfort of familiar before gaining the comfort of new. And this is one of the reasons. So I mean, you knew exactly every process, every system, every single thing what you do is familiar, is comfortable. So now when you're moving to something new, everything is new and is uncomfortable. And that we need to build that familiarity with the new. And until that familiarity is built, it will feel very uncomfortable, because old patterns need to disappear and new patterns need to build, and that limbo between the old ones and new ones is very uncomfortable, is uncertain, is it is so uncomfortable that sometimes we need to go back to we want to go back to old patterns because it was comfortable and familiar. So that means that when you start going to the right direction, you will need to build new patterns, new systems, new processes, and they will be uncomfortable. We need to know that. Number two, you're finally seeing reality clearly. It's such an interesting thing that when you start to really move to the right direction, you expose yourself the things that is missing, you did that you're not able to do that yet, and maybe before you had some habits that is actually taking away your mind, scrolling, taking away your mind. You just is mindlessly doing things. But your movies, there are so many things that potentially we could do mindlessly, and because we do mindlessly, we are not aware of our life. But when we start moving to the right direction and really moving to that direction, rather than being in one spot, we start to see all the things that we did wrong, and potentially we're still doing it, and we reduce it. So it means that when you really start to really pursue big vision, you're aware of all the things, all the shortcomings that just a minute, just a week ago, just a month ago, that you were still doing. And that sometimes is a scary place to be, because you see reality clearly, and that feels uncomfortable. Because when you were in the pit, you just didn't see anything. You didn't know where you're at, if it where it is or left, where it's right, where it's up, where it's down. You just total darkness. But when you really pursue and you start to seeing some light, you look around and you see where you're at. You see reality, and reality sometimes is very scary. And that's why it feels sometimes worse than being in a pit, because you see stuff. Number three, your identity is resisting change. And this again, if you live a life in a certain way for quite period of time, it means it might be that you already with your patterns, with your habits, build some kind of beliefs, identities about yourself. Oh, I'm lazy. I'm a certain way. I'm anxious. I'm not good at this one. I'm not good at this one. And rather than fighting to really keep those beliefs, we need to really start to really catching ourselves, seeing those things, and really build those behaviors that really change our identities. And it's interesting thing, because it's very hard for a long period of time to do something that is out of alignment who you believe you are. So if you believe that you are lazy, but your behaviors and patterns and systems and process shows that you actually not lazy, there is a misalignment. So at some point, something will need to go up. Your identity will need to change back into to consistent, disciplined person, or you will need to give up your process and systems to really align with being lazy, because that misalignment is really putting a lot of pressure on you, on your ego, on your understanding of who you are. And that's why at some point will need to be some alignment. And I think that I hope that we will be able to really build those process systems so strong that we actually, even with behavior, are able to change our identity. Because sometimes we're able to change our identity just by making a massive decision. And that massive decision allows to change our behaviors and habits. And that's sometimes even a much easier way. Sometimes we say that we want to be this person, but we don't believe it yet, and we don't change it yet, and that's why it's still very very hard to really build those processes and habits. But sometimes just by pure um, power and daily habits, you're able to change your belief just about yourself. Number four, you're inviting before seeing, you're investing before you seeing returns or results. Such an interesting thing, because when you really pursue something meaningful, now I said that this is a very very important. When you're pursuing something meaningful, and that means that when something that is meaningful, it will come delayed. There's rarely something that is really meaningful comes without delay. Knowing that, that means that at some point you maybe you did everything that brings results immediately. You went to job, you got paid. You got a job, you went paid. And now you finally you pursue something for your future. And the first time, maybe even create a business. That means you allocate so much time, so much effort, and you don't get any results. And it feels worse. Wow, I went to a job, I worked, but at least get some results. Now I worked a month, 2, 3, 6 months, and I didn't get any results whatsoever. So that means sometimes it feels worse because of that, because it's delayed. But we need to understand it. If it's meaningful, pursuit of that meaningful goal, sometimes even for me, it's more powerful than just really not pursue it. If there is at least a 0%, 0.001% chance to achieve my meaningful goal, I will pursue it. Because it's just, I think that's how we're supposed to live. Pursue something meaningful that is for you. Number five, your nervous system. Mistakes change for danger. For danger. And again, this is when we think about it, our life have been optimized for survival a lot of times. So that's we have a tendency to do that. So that means that a new job is danger, new career danger, new relations danger, new business danger. So that means every single thing that really focuses on changing things, evolving things, transforming things looks like danger. And I think that we need to really understand that when we start something new, that new will feel like danger. And somebody say like, wow, I feel so uncomfortable about this new endeavor. Maybe that's not for me. No, it's for you, because your body still threatens you, because your nervous system was not understanding what is going on, and it will fight for safety. But we need to understand that we need to go through that just to make sure that we're able to achieve that future that we craving for. Number six, progress exposes new weaknesses. Such an interesting thing that this one is again very unique one. You don't know this one six until you're actually taking actions. Because when you really progress and you really start doing things that you never did before, what you start to see that the things that you never did before, you expose to new skills, new endeavors, new tasks. Now you know exactly what kind of tasks you're good at and how what kind of tasks you bad at. And some maybe areas of life that we look into you as a person, your traits, and you're able to really start to expose yourself to act differently in different situations. And because of that, you start to see yourself from different angle, and you start to see that wow, I didn't know that I'm weak at this. I didn't never needed to really do anything like that. So now I did in that regards, and this is my weakness, and I will need to work on that. Or this is my strength. So that is a beautiful thing. So that means progress exposes your new weaknesses, new strengths, because you have been exposed to things that you've never been exposed to, and of course, because of that, you know more about yourself. And that sometimes could feel even worse. Like, wow, I didn't know that I have so many things to really build. I thought I'm much farther ahead, but now I know the reality, and I know that there's a lot of things that I need to do to develop in me just to make sure that I am able to achieve the success I'm looking for. Number seven, you are carrying yesterday while building tomorrow. And again, this is sometimes is extremely heavy because it's very hard to achieve success when you're still holding on the past. And I really love the example that all the grudges, all the negative beliefs, all the things that is coming with negative frame is extremely heavy in your luggage of the past. Lessons is very light. You can carry it with one hand on one finger. On it's extremely light. So that means that we need to look into, okay, what do I carry from the past? Because when we look into the future and really start taking actions towards future, be able to look at, okay, what do I bring from the past that is actually self sabotaging me and is not allowing me to move as fast as I could? Because if at some point I fail at something, and that's really builds identity almost that I'm a failure. And now when I pursue something totally different, but there's still that clinging idea it's bringing that doubt in your judgment, doubt in yourself. That's again when you're really carrying it some luggage in you and being able to really be like a newborn and really take in as to the new person. And it's interesting because when you really see that as a lesson, and like, "Oh, now I'm such a wiser person. So I failed. Most people didn't fail. They didn't learn, but I failed. I learned. I grew. I developed. I have more vision than that person." So when you see that you are above the person that you were before, at that moment, you're able to really say, "This is a new endeavor that I will be so much better if I choose to." So I hope you reflected it because this is very important topic to understand for people who really want to pursue something meaningful. Because as I said, this is the main idea is that when you pursue something meaningful, when you get out of your balance, safety, and peace, and you're going to pursue something, most likely you will feel worse at the beginning than before. And that is what you're supposed to expect. And when you go through that, then of course you will get new habits, new patterns, everything. At some point, you will need to go out through that again, but I think that the more you go for that, the quicker that season is. So I hope you just win and see you tomorrow.